Hard numbers. We don't have our own rap for this.
Oh, we should have a
Hard
rap
numbers.
for hard numbers.
Hard numbers.
That does not sound like rap. What does that sound like? I love it though.
It's a jingle.
It's
a jingle. We need a jingle.
It's a jingle. It's a
hard numbers.
Jingle. This is a Jason jingle. A jangle.
You just say hard numbers over. It's like a smooth.
I want to auto tune
heavy
that
metal.
And turn that into the song.
Smooth heavy metal is what it is. Bernard's walking in.
You see it.
Hey Bernard,
You could do it to YMCA. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. We could do a Sesame Street of this. Like, this is perfect.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Anyway, play the intro.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? I repeat, may I have your attention, please?
This is another public service announcement brought to you in part
by Accounting High.
The views and events expressed here are
of the next generation of accounting and tech professionals leading this space.
The events and suggestions are not to be taken lightly. Children should not partake in the listening
of this podcast.
Anything else?
Yeah. We're gonna have a problem here.
Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is
Scotty.
It's so nice to meet you.
So I want to at least, so that part, I'm going to leave some space
There's
in there.
There's got to be some copyright issues with that.
Oh, there's a lot, I'm sure. Class is in session. You can school me about that. I have no idea what I have to ask permission for, what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do.
You can record your own version of the song. You just can't play the song, the actual song.
Okay.
I believe that's. I'm not a lawyer.
So, I mean, I see people using that shit on YouTube and even other podcasts.
I think if it's if it's like less than 5 seconds or something, you can do it. I don't know. We'll have to get our lawyers involved.
Yeah. Well, you are allowed to do it on Spotify, and we're on Anchor. So Anchor users can have that on Spotify, but I don't know if Apple Music I'm allowed to, and over 60% of our listeners are on Apple. So we'll
worst
figure
case
it out.
they
I'm going to let it skate through. We don't have a whole ton of notoriety that is going to become front page news, but I think I almost want to push that envelope.
How proud are you of that
where it gets more
intro?
Attention. I was so happy when I did it. It was an idea that was in my head for so long. And I finally figured out how to do the whole thing and stitch it all together. Like, why do you ask? Why?
Just wondering. But enough about the intro. Let's talk about hard numbers.
Hard numbers. All right. You're going to start this time because
I have a question, though. I want to just ask a generic question. So you were like, a couple weeks ago, you're like, my numbers are good. We need to talk about hard numbers. So I'm interested
I wish I had a little like button that I could press whenever you want to do hard numbers, and I could just press it. Next time we do this,
you'll have it.
I will have an intro for hard numbers. It'll have its own intro.
So when you look at your income statement, what are the things that you're looking at?
I'm looking at my margins right now. I used to always look at the top line, and I just stopped.
What do you mean by
that.
margins? What do you mean by that?
I'm looking at how much money am I making.
So you're talking about after the expenses, not including your expense. So basically the net income of the business before owners, salary, drop, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have more to say. See, we're not doing mine yet. I'm going to stop
we're sharing. This is exciting.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
So we're in a peer group, and we have like a standard chart of account type thing. So I group.
Sure.
They
call that Paget in the group I'm in.
So yeah, but I group. So for employees, I group how many years of experience they are for the professionals. So less than a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 6 years, or 10 years plus. And then I have admin people as separate.
Sounds reasonable.
So our top line, this is January through July 2022. And we're recording this on August 1st. This is how good we do our bookkeeping. It's one day after.
Oh, I mean, I just show I have mine updated through the end of July.
Yeah, that was yesterday. That's good. That's what I'm saying. So our revenue is kind of a weird, because we do practitioner, and sometimes the timing's slightly different because for the last 2 years we've been doing tax returns, and they extended the deadline, so sometimes like the month will be a little weird, but I think it's pretty accurate because last year they extended the deadline to May, and then the year before they did to June. So this should be pretty good for the last 2 years. So
you do realize that you're talking to a bunch of accountants who don't need this
I
explanation.
know, but
they would give the same one.
But if you're not tax heavy or you do all recurring monthly revenue, then it'll be different.
I get it.
So our income through January to July, 3.3 million. Last year was 2.7 million. So we're up. As a year as a whole, we should be up about 15% gross. And then our salaries, I'm just going to include everyone's, because I like to include everyone's salary, including admins, because admins are just as important. Like, you can't not say, like, oh, gross. I
include everybody's salary, every person.
I think that should be considered gross, because I think everyone is important. Like, you can't work without your admin team. And if you, so our gross profit, so our salaries year to date was 1.6. Our gross profit's 51%. 1.7 million, let's call it.
That's pretty impressive.
So
that's pretty good. And that includes, you said you include everybody. Do you have yours in there?
No, this is before owners. So
okay.
Me or my dad's are not included in there. And then our just overhead, so everything else.
So just for anybody listening, it's 1.6 million. That's the conversion rate for your margin, your profit. 1.7, sorry. 1.697.
Well, 51%. And then...
Yeah, but I can't do that math in my head. I know you could. I can't do that.
No, I can't do that in my head. So, and then our operating expenses at 14%. Which is a little skewed because we pay like a bunch up front in December, so that'll get fixed. So that's kind of low.
Well, no, this is a 12-month running, right?
No, I don't have this as 12 months. I just had January to... Are we doing 12-month running? Do I need to redo this whole thing?
No, I just redid mine, but I have it through January through July too. That's the one I'm looking at. So that's actually pretty fucking good.
So basically our gross.
Now, don't you love in Zero that you can do year-over-year comparison now?
Yeah,
too?
I know. The new report, this is where we drop our Zero ad. They should pay for this.
I'm dropping it. I just did.
Their new reports, actually, they listen to us, and they're actually better than QuickBooks now. I'll go say it. They did a great job.
I've been intimately involved with the process of these reports, and I've seen iterations that I wasn't too fond of, but this is fucking dope. I was messing my reports just now, and I was super happy. It was easy.
So our operating income is 1.2 million after expenses. So that's basically 37%. So that's our net income year to date before basically our shareholder costs, which are me and my dad.
Pretty fucking good.
Not bad.
I would have to say. Pretty, as Larry would go on and on about. So I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned here. There's a lot of value you can give. Do you have anywhere that we could listen to you more? Do you have any outlets of media that you do on a weekly basis where we can hear?
Are we
more
doing
from
our
you,
own an ad for the podcast they're listening to right now?
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing.
But if you're asking, why do
That
I
was
think
my
our
segue.
revenue's up and why we're doing better? Like last year, our operating, our margin was 30%.
Yeah.
And the year before.
And what's the biggest difference year over year? What are the biggest variances?
But I think our biggest thing was that this year we went up on prices big time, and we just like didn't give two shits. So I would say on average we went up between 15 and 20% per client. So what that did was
That seems to be an industry trend.
We lost.
Is
Yeah, some people don't do that though. And we're gonna do it again next year. Like,
oh hell
it
yeah.
just helps
I'm doing
you.
it
So,
again too, yeah,
so
for
what
sure.
it did was, it got people's prices up to where they should be, and we lost the ones that we lost, we didn't lose that many, but they were all like the low end, the $600, $700 tax return.
They were the first people to complain about a price
Exactly,
increase.
the people that should go.
First people
the
that are going to
ones-
complain when they don't
Yeah.
agree with their tax refund or their tax liability.
Yeah, exactly. The people that need to go, who don't understand the value that you're giving. So that was big. And then, so it just allowed capacity to free up. So then when we got new clients that were priced correctly, just kind of took over their space. So we haven't really grown. We've actually lost a person. So our compensation this year compared to last year is it's up 120,000. So
That's not that much.
yeah, for a gross revenue increase of 600,000, like that's how we've gotten our margins up. Is we've basically just increased price. We haven't tried to.
You haven't given any raises yet either.
Oh no, we gave $120,000 worth of raises.
I know. Yeah, I know.
So and we
get
gave our bonus. People's bonuses went up about 15% this year, because that's about what our revenues were up. So that's kind of how.
Dope rope. Dope on a rope. Dope books
Dope,
is what I said with Nicole once.
dope butts.
Dopebooks.com. That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's very freeing and calming when I look at good numbers. It puts me in a mood when the numbers don't look good, and that's what happened last time we did hard numbers. I was in a
Hard
funk
numbers.
because my numbers looked like shit. The first hard numbers part 1, it was a therapy session. This was like you coaching me out of going over the edge. I was about to jump off of the building. Like I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm done. I'm selling my firm. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I wasn't making any money. Making some
All
money
right, so
now,
this is foreshadowing. So, do you have any other questions on my books? I think we've gone through them.
I don't have any questions per se. I think you want to at least talk about other observations that you've made when looking at this. Things that you've learned, things that you maybe would hope to do differently next year or next time we do an update. Things they might want to change. Like I said, they look good. Like I'm not going to critique.
we're going to focus more on top line. I think our kind of expenses will be kind of go up. The good thing is hopefully they'll go up 5 or 6%, but our gross will go up 15 or 20%, and that's creating margin there. So I don't nitpick the expenses. Like, I'm kind of a free spender. Like, if anyone asks me for anything in the office, they want a computer, they want blah, 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 blah. I don't nickel and dime them. I tell people to go out to lunch
So
all the
that's
time.
so much different than me. I nickel and dime everything.
Because I want
Everything.
people to like have what they want. Now, I'm not going to buy them like a Mercedes, but like if they need a new computer or a laptop, or they want to go out to lunch, or they want to go blah, 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 I basically say yes to everything because I want them to be happy. Because I know like if we lose somebody, it's going to cost me a lot more than whatever I just paid their $50 meal or whatever. So, I look at the expenses, especially our computer. Like, I like to see like what we're spending on computer stuff, and so I think that's kind of stuff you could potentially control. But meals and
Well, that's
other
because
stuff,
you spend a lot on computers. Not everybody spends as much as you do on computers. Not as many people are progressive like us and buy Apple. It's a lot cheaper. And you probably have more spend
Oh yeah,
on IT.
that's the
if
thing
you don't
too.
have
Like,
Apple, though.
yeah, don't freaking cheap out on a computer because
Don't cheap out
it
on a
will
computer.
get hacked
Get an
and
Apple.
you will pay for it later. Like, Apple has the best security. Like,
there's a lot about Apple. We don't have to sell people on
Yeah.
Apple because the ones that
well,
really
no, it
see the
is
value in it,
expensive. You're
they're already
spending
doing it.
$2,500 for a laptop for Apple, where you could spend $300 on a Chromebook. But again, you're going.
I mean, you could
you're
still
gonna
go
get what you pay
cheaper on
for.
Apple. You don't have to get the $2,500 ones. You could still get $1,000 ones with Apple, and it'll still be really good.
But again, I want people to. I don't want people to think that we're cheap because we charge the clients a lot, so I think it's kind of dumb. We charge our clients a lot, but like I can't buy you a nice laptop. I think that's kind
I'm
of
with
stupid.
you. I don't disagree with that statement at all.
So
I'm with you. I do the same thing. When I say cheap, remember we're all being relative here.
yeah,
I still get the Apple. I'm just not going from, the excess. I'm not trying to be opulent and go crazy and get everybody the computer I got for myself, which at first I didn't need, but now that I'm doing all this audio video editing,
you need it.
I need this powerhouse of an iMac Pro. Like, this shit was a beast when I got it, and it still is, but it's like, it was scalable, right? It lasted for a while. If I wasn't doing audio video editing, I wouldn't need this shit. And I didn't before I started doing that. So
For 2022, I think our operating margin is going to be closer to 30% than 20% that it was last year.
cool. So
It's enough about
I'm
me.
impressed. I'm impressed. This is why we do it. This is
why.
this is why we do what we do.
Well, I think it's
these
important too
moments
that you
right here.
share, I think half of these people,
Talk the talk.
I think half these people who have podcasts don't make any money and don't know how to run a firm profitably.
Well, that's debatable for me. Let's see, because if you're leading off of first Hard Numbers Part 1, I wasn't making too much money. We didn't go too deep into the details, but I don't know shit still. I don't know a damn thing about running a firm. I don't even run it anymore. But let's segue from
At least you're
point A
honest
to
about
point
it.
B now. At
It's
least I'm
time for
honest
Scott's
about
hard
it.
numbers.
Hard numbers. So, do we want to do 12-month running, which looks really good, or do we want to do 6 months or 7 months?
And you can do whatever
Indeed.
you want.
Okay. Either
I
way,
guess-
I'm going
well,
to
let's
start
start-
with 7 months into the year because
Yeah.
this is hard numbers, and that's what you started with. So
Do hard numbers.
Let's make sure I'm doing the right one. And now I'm just deciding on which ones to share, and I don't know which one I shared. January through July, 2022. So for the first time ever, we almost hit 1 million 6 months into the year. We're at
You're at 7 months.
991. We're pretty close. I have included some other income in here too, since I have a new stream of income.
Which is your podcasting?
Not just podcasting, but a few other things, a handful of things. And most of it is
Scott's non-pageant income, 53,000.
non-pageant income. Yeah, that's that one. So that's another thing just for my ego to see that I'm actually spending time, a lot of time, doing something that's somewhat paying off. It's a minor. It is 5% of the total, probably less. Our margins, and this includes pretty much everything that I would include. There's some operating that I have in here, and then there's just a lot of discretionary shit that I have in my books, but
A lot of discretionary shit.
a lot of discretionary shit. We will, I could go into all that, but most of it's just the officer stuff and things that we won't go into too much of that
Lot
detail.
of travel.
Let me let me
A
hide
lot
all
of
that
travel.
detail there. Yeah, there's a lot of travel in there. Stop getting distracted with all that other shit. This is like don't look, keep your eyes at my face here. All right,
Yeah, I'm not
let's
looking
get
at
down
that.
to business. Down to business. So we got year to date 46 gross, considering all the things. Last year we were at 24 at this time. 2 years ago, 33. 3 years ago, 52 margin. So we went from being about 52 in 2019, 52% margin, to like 30, 33, 24, and it was just going downhill from there. So, but this year,
a bit.
things are looking all right.
So there's a couple things. Your wages are down.
Wages are down a bit because we have replaced people with foreign sourced staffing. I don't know what we want to call that. Basically,
So,
it's the back
so you
room
let go of a
was
couple
double rule.
people,
Yeah.
and then you didn't hire people here. You replaced them with people in the Philippines or wherever they are.
Well, it kind of started with I let 2 people go last year, and I've talked about that at length. But yeah, we let 2 people go last year. And then the 2 CPAs that we hired at the beginning of COVID that was killing my margins, one of them we had to let go, and the other one left. And we didn't have to replace them with anybody because we continued to backfill the work. And now we have capacity without hiring anybody. We hired 2 people in the Philippines, so we have 3 people there now. And
And the people in the
full-time
Philippines are
people
doing mostly bookkeeping, reconciliation work.
mostly staff level work, yeah, bookkeeping, keeping up with the day-to-day stuff. So now we have a clear distinction between account manager and then staff and basically like bookkeeper, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I was looking at our payroll tax expense. That went down significantly, and that's, well, obviously because payroll goes down,
Yeah.
It's just, I was surprised at the amount that went down. I mean, I know the wages went down quite a bit too, but you can see, I mean, pretty much the wages went up a lot. I was overstaffed, over capacity for a while there.
Now,
in 2020,
and the other thing I
2021.
see is you don't have a rent anymore.
No rent.
So
Yeah.
that was a $24,000 expense that you no longer have.
Pretty much, yeah. And with that, you don't necessarily need somebody for the front of office. Like I said, like we had to let 2 people go, but we let 2 people go because we were over capacity, and then also we realized like having somebody in the front doesn't necessarily translate when you're fully virtual. Like you don't really need that person. Almost all that stuff can be automated. But we're making do. Any other notice things that you noticed?
No, those are the 2 big things.
Other than my
I mean,
discretionary amount.
I mean, your revenue's up a little bit, but it's not like up
Nothing
super
crazy.
amount. It's more that I think you were overstaffed. Like you said, you got rid of 2 people. Your salaries are down. What is that? $70,000.
About, yeah.
And then rent. So you've basically that's
So
$100,000
salary's
bucks
down 70.
with payroll taxes,
Outsourced.
wages,
Yeah.
and outsource has gone up 6,000.
I
So
know,
not.
yeah.
So basically, you're close to $100,000 of expenses that you've eliminated. You had to add $6,000 of outside services. So you were definitely top heavy in your team.
Too top
and
heavy.
you clearly needed more lower level staff, and that's what you've done.
Yeah, I mean, we don't as owners, as like we're accountants. We're not necessarily business owners, and I don't really learn these things the easy way. I don't intuitively, and anything else. I just don't know what to do until I fuck up and I screw things up, and that's what I did, to a degree. I thought I was doing the right thing I got PPP money. I'm going to hire 2 people with this money, and I'll backfill it later. I'll fill them with clients later. And then I kind of lost interest along the way, and I didn't want to go crazy and take on and then also not just I lost interest, but when we did take on a lot, we actually would have like these floods of I'd add a lot of new business, but nobody could handle it. 2 people can't necessarily handle all the work that you're throwing at them, because that back work and everything else, like you kind of need to slow that in. You got to ease that in. You can't just overwork them. And expect them to respond well. I mean, that's, a lot of lessons learned along the way, and a lot of little things that kind of add up to the bigger changes. But I'm making money again, and that's what matters. That's all that matters in my mind. I mean, everybody's happy. I still have the same core group of people. The people that we let go, we're still friends with. I was just texting one of the guys the other day. Got him another job somewhere else. And the woman that was in the front, she's got a job somewhere else now too. So, we shed a little bit of, it was just weird that we added 2 people that were in other states remote. And I thought that was the way. That's what we were going to permanently do. And I thought all of it was working. And at the end of the day, we're right back to square one. Everybody's just working from home now. You know?
It's hard to hire remote. I don't think it sounds like to me that it's not that you hired wrong. Not the remote part was wrong, just the level. It sounded like you needed more lower level and not higher level.
Yeah, they were good. And I think, honestly, they worked for me for almost 2 years, both of them, and for different reasons. It just didn't work out anymore.
Bernard's walking in.
You see it.
Hey, Bernard.
This is Scott. Can't hear you because you're on my cell.
Tell Scott I'm still waiting for my invite.
Well, we can record with you. Tell him I said we can record with you whenever Jason allows me to. He hasn't let me.
Hey, you grew a beard down in Mexico.
I did. Yeah, they didn't have razors down there, but this is actually trimmed. You should have seen it when I got back. It was pretty out there. So what I did was when I left Mexico, I shaved my face. I don't normally do that, and we were there for like a month, and I just let it grow the whole time. But when I got back, it was pretty big.
Was it a good trip though? Well, I mean, were you glad?
It was a great trip. Yeah. We can tease your episode right now. What are we gonna do? Like, I've got a lot of questions for you about your son.
I'm willing to be full disclosure to let you know it.
I like this. So do we want Jason on your episode, or do we want to do it without him and you just record in his office like this?
We could do it just like this. This would be great. This would be really good. And it's about time you get another person that's really a son of a CPA. So that's the name of your webcast.
It is, and you know what? We have recently transformed, and I'm going through a rebranding, and we're taking that off the name. So this would be more than appropriate to have you on now. While it's still
I'm going to be the jettison issue of the Sons of CPAs.
You have to give the approval. So the new name of the podcast is Accounting High. It's going to be like a high school. I'll have Jason play the intro for you. We already played it earlier.
That's great. That's great. Y'all are doing great. I tell you, it's amazing the number of accounting podcasts that are out there now.
There's a lot, isn't there?
There are. I mean, you could spend all day listening to accounting podcasts. It's just.
I think we were onto something then.
Yep, I think you were a little. You're right in the middle of the curve when you guys came in.
Yeah, we definitely weren't ahead of our time.
Yeah.
We were just right there, right smack in the middle, and I think we found our pocket. We found our place.
But it's really good to start getting input from mid-level and smaller level firms instead of just getting, the AICPA jargon.
You got
all these years that it's just it's always been top down, from them, instead of really getting mid-level and lower level up. So
well, you got to meet people where they're at too, right? And talk to them about real life, the real profession in real life, like accounting. We called Rita's episode real life accounting. You must have listened to it. Rita's episode was great. Rita Keller.
Yeah. I did. I listened.
Yeah.
She's
something real.
She's been around a long time too. Good girl.
She has. Yeah. She gave you a couple shout outs in her episode. I want to have her on again. That would be great.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you've done for your son to allow him to record this podcast.
Okay.
Allow him to have all this time off with the new baby and everything. So,
well, we're running a golf association here. If anybody wants to improve their golf skills, I think Jason's opening a golf camp up pretty soon.
That's actually charge for that.
It's not a bad idea. I like where your head's at. So you've got the cycling. I just got a Peloton, so I'm working on my spin. I'm taking my spin classes so I can go bike with you one day.
Peloton is moving all of their production for the actual machine to Taiwan. They bragged when they first came out that they were all made in America. So now they're making the machines less expensive, so they can go the subscription route. And are you on the subscription deal where you pay?
I am, and I was just telling my wife this morning. I said, you know what, this is worth it. It was only like $45 a month or something.
I'm thinking about doing that myself. Did you get a new?
Awesome.
Did you get a new Peloton?
I did. Yeah, I bought a new one, and that's because that's how I do. I mean, to me, it was like a computer. It's $2,500 for the whole thing. They set it up for you. It's like, this is a new computer, but now myself, my wife, our daughter, we're all using it every day. It's great.
Yeah. I've never been a great exerciser with indoor equipment. I've always had to go outside the house to exercise.
But with this heat,
Yeah.
it's been
And with
pretty hot.
COVID. I mean,
And COVID.
Yeah, it's a safe place to be.
It's pretty awesome. I appreciate that I got it. That what they're doing is pretty cool. It's they got these live classes on there. They've really gamified the whole thing too, so it makes you want to work out more. And it's like I want to increase the habit. I want to turn this habit into something that I could keep doing. I was doing the elliptical for a while and I was keeping up with it, but I wasn't really pushing myself. I got somebody right in front of me. I could choose to watch TV while I'm doing it, or I can watch the instructor. I think
But
it's
more
great.
importantly, you can do it on your schedule anytime you want to do it. So that's what really makes it nice. And
On demand, too. And
The
there's
classes are on them.
thousands of classes, thousands of different things for everybody. And they got like different types of workouts too. So you got like meditation, yoga, and like shadow boxing and all kinds of stuff, plus the bike. So it's all pretty cool.
We have a team member here, Jeanette, who I took her to her first spinning class like 7 or 8 years ago. And now she's like in the top 3%ers on Peloton.
Really?
She is.
That's pretty dope.
She's on there probably an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, and
Wow.
her legs are something else. She don't want to mess around with that girl's legs, man. They're powerful.
Well, that's that's light years beyond where I'm at, but I can appreciate all aspects.
But it's a great
of it,
workout.
right?
Yeah, it is. It's a great workout. Well, how's your
It's
accounting
pretty
business?
Oh, we just shared our numbers. It's doing great without me. Like this is all
That's a
happening.
perfect business. That's what I'm finding
it
out
isn't
too.
it?
Jason's.
Yeah, he's taking over for you, right? Like I can really appreciate that.
He's done an incredible job. I have to admit. We
You
moved
need somebody to take over for him. He works too much.
He somehow, with all of his golf, we went from a $2 million firm to almost a $5 million firm. We're almost there.
Yeah, and I think that if he keeps doing what he's doing, the numbers I saw was pretty refreshing. Like y'all are doing a lot of things right, especially with the price increase. I think that was we were just looking at it. That's the biggest takeaway year over year, is you got the same amount of capacity, the same amount of people. We have more capacity with the same number of people and higher margins.
Yeah, all technology. A lot of all technology, but we're up to 190,000 per professional and annual. So that's
What's the goal?
the goal is to be 200. The top firms are two. Well, Jason wants to get to 300. The highest I've seen for anybody is 210. So per professional, per person.
So you almost cracked the 2.
Yeah, we've almost cracked the 2.
That's the next goal.
We're basing it on
milestone.
25, and that's really what we are. Because
so just hire some cheap labor, and then you'll get there as an average, right?
there you go.
And you're already on your way with the high schoolers, right?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, now we do have a really good group of interns. We went through a period where
This is going to be great when this is accounting high, because we can have your interns come on since they are still in high school, and we can have some. I can bring my daughter on too. She can talk to some of your interns.
Well, I tell you, if we want to keep our industry alive and going, we've got to get accounting started and
Get them young.
Well, they've got to just start getting interested in the high schools, and they got to make the accounting courses AP courses. That's why most of these kids won't take accounting 1 and accounting 2 or finance 1, all the finance courses that the high schools have, because they're not AP, and the good students want to get AP credit, when they're a junior or senior in high school. So they've got to change that.
Yeah, well, we need to get our GPAs up. I know I took the AP courses so I can get my GPA above 4.
Yeah.
So I can get into a good college, right?
Yeah.
Like I never took any accounting classes when I was in high school. I knew that I wanted to be an accountant because I'm the son of a CPA and my grandfather had a CPA firm. I figured that's what I would end up doing. But,
Did they have them in your?
But there's not everybody's like me,
But they had them in your high school when you were there.
They didn't. I don't think they did.
They didn't have them in my high school. They didn't.
If they did, I would have taken it for damn sure. They didn't have it in my high school. Yeah. I probably would have. So it's cool. So this is a teaser. We'll get a sneak peek of your episode. Eventually, it'll come out. We'll record it. I keep saying I want to come down there, and I think that's delaying our recording because I haven't come down there. That's why we haven't recorded. It was a stab. It was a knife in my heart when I heard you didn't go with dial pad. I try to give him the hard sell.
You know what? You ought to go back to Dialpad and tell, we pay $15 a line. Dialpad was $25 a line. And Zoom is really a better service. I'm telling you. Zoom is only 2 years old, so they've got a few little glitches that they.
Can you please talk to my management team? I tried to get them to switch to Zoom last year, actually. Can you sell them on it? Because all they need to be sold.
Well,
if they're sold on it, we'll go.
I'll be glad to talk to whoever, but because I'll tell you what was really the price was a little bit of an issue, but the big thing for us was the support. I mean, they were incredible. Where Dialpad was really very almost
automated.
Automated, unresponsive. Couldn't get to a real person to help you determine exactly what your needs were. And we had like 4 guys on Zoom on these Zoom meetings that really from the engineer to the salesperson and really helped us design our system. Did a good job. And it was
so
and the transition. They said we do it at 11 o'clock on Fridays, and on 11 o'clock on Friday, they got us all switched around. So it was good.
So mind you, I've been on Dialpad for like 6 years, I think. And they've had some ups and downs along the way, but they've been pretty overall, like very reliable. We never really had too many problems. I don't know if it's 6 years. 2017 was when we started Dialpad, or the end of 2016. So
is your remote app? It
hasn't changed that much along the way, and they haven't rebranded at all. The only thing that really happened was they are sponsoring an NBA team, and they're more popular. But I always thought it was cool because Zero used Dialpad internally, because when when we started using it, we saw Zero on their website, and I was like, that's pretty cool. This is scalable enough. Let's
Carbon, where I got Zoom from was from Carbon. Carbon uses Zoom.
Interesting, yeah. Carbon also uses Carbon.
Yeah, that's it. That is a good thing. I wonder if Salesforce uses Salesforce.
You would think that they would, because they're big enough, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of Gusto doesn't use Gusto for their payroll.
I didn't know, but Gusto's been advertising like crazy. I mean, they're on all over. Yeah, they're all over TV now. They have a billboard on the way to Charlotte. You seen that, Jason?
Good for them. That's good for us too, right? Isn't that validate our choices?
Yeah, it'd be nice if they put some of the firms on that billboard to use them.
That would be pretty cool, right? Yeah. He's already your son's a poster boy for a lot of these apps. I see his picture everywhere.
He's the next. He's going to be the male Jody Padar.
Oh, I love it. That's Jason Padar.
Jason Padar rotating among
Jody Ackerman
among the firms that just would pay him to say that they have a wonderful product. He'll be there.
Oh, I love it. You want to close us out for this session of hard numbers?
Yeah, and
we need to have a jingle for hard numbers. You got any ideas?
Could do it to YMCA. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. We could do a Sesame Street of this. This is perfect.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think I'm gonna clip that part and Jason doing the hard numbers. I'll auto tune it. It'll sound great. It'll be perfect.
Scott, nice chatting with you. I hope
your
family's okay and everybody's doing well.
Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's healthy, happy, and hot. It is hot here. I know it's hot where you are, too.
It's been unbelievable, really.
Scorching. See you, Bernie.
Be
Tell
good.
Jason I said peace out.